Today I'm going to be talking about a very important challenge, which is tracking your investment portfolio. Why is this important? Well, you've got Indian stocks, you've got mutual funds, you've got US stocks, you've got liquid funds, you've got gold bonds, you've got EPF, you've got VPF, you've got cash, and I don't even know what else, right? Now, seeing all of this in one place is important, one, from an asset allocation standpoint, so that you know as the market moves up and down, how is your asset allocation moving? And two, because if you can't measure the performance of this, then you don't know whether you're doing well or not. Today, I'm going to be sharing my own portfolio tracker. This is something that I had made back in COVID. It has kept me in good stead ever since. It auto updates every day. All I need to do is spend 5 minutes a month updating the transactions that I made in that month, and then everything happens on its own. It updates daily for me, records all the values daily, which gives me the firepower to actually measure my XIRR, CAGR, performance, asset allocation at a real-time basis on an almost everyday basis, right? If I so choose to. I could not find this on any other app, so I think this is something that you will truly find useful. This channel is a part of Zerodha's 01 network. Welcome to the channel, everyone. I'm Pranay. I work at Google myself, and I help people like me who are working professionals make better financial decisions. And if you like my work, you can consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's jump into the portfolio tracker. This is what it looks like. I'm going to share the link to this Google Sheet on my Substack. The link of that is in the description. Go subscribe there and you will get this. There will also be a Substack article on this portfolio tracker where I'll talk through all of the different ways in which you can use this. But let me first explain it to you on how this works. So the first tab is the overall tab. This is, I think, the bird's eye view, the summary. A few things here. Let's start from the top. These are all of the different categories, right? And this is not exhaustive. This is just some of the categories that I could think of. So value equity, this is the cost, this is the value, this is your absolute gain, this is the gain in terms of percentages. All of these numbers are made up, as in these entries are made up. We will go through where these entries are being pulled from just in a minute. But first, let's understand all of the categories, right? There's value equity, which could be your Indian stocks. I've basically looked at this as Indian stocks. MF is your mutual funds, so that's the second one. Third is your liquid funds. These are basically equity mutual funds. MF is equity mutual fund, liquid fund. Gold, this could be liquid Bs. Then there's gold bonds, which are sovereign gold bonds. These are arbitrage funds. These are debt funds. These are US stocks. This is RSUs. If any of you work in American companies, you get stock units, so that's RSUs. This is cash, and then this is provident fund. This could include your PPF, which is public provident fund, VPF, EPF, and all of that. So these are the different categories that I've put together. What I've also done is extrapolated them to the different ways. So there's market linked. Market linked is the sum of, as you can see, it is the sum of value equity, mutual fund, US stocks, and RSUs, because these are market linked. Then there is fixed income, which is the sum of liquid funds, arbitrage funds, debt funds, and provident fund. And then there's gold, which is the sum of gold, digital gold in the form of liquid Bs, and then gold bonds, right? So that's your gold. This is the cost. This is the value. In the value portion, I've also added a cash component. We'll go through deeper into all of these. I'm just giving you a bird's eye view right now, so bear with me. And then there is the absolute gain at an overall portfolio level, and then the percentage gain. So this is a bird's eye view. This is what the portfolio tracker looks like. This is a daily tracker, and this is straight because I've just made this, and so there are not much fluctuations. But this updates daily, so you can open it every day and you'll see how your portfolio is moving. And this is at an overall level, right? So if you'll see, this number here this is the high level split of market linked, fixed income, gold, cash. And then if you want a further deeper split, then this is RSUs, provident fund, US stocks, and so on, right? How much of your overall portfolio is basis these different items. So this chart is essentially coming from these rows, and this chart here is coming from all of these rows. Clear? Okay. Now let's jump into how do you get here? What are the input variables that you need to do? So it all starts from this tab here called transactions. This is basically what you need to do as you're updating, and I'll make a live entry for you to show you how this works. Before we proceed, I want to thank the sponsors of today's video, Odo. Like how I am helping you simplify your investments, Odo is going to help you simplify your business. Today, I really want to talk about their CRM application. The CRM application is a comprehensive customer-centric tool, and it helps you track your leads. You can manage communication with clients, get accurate forecasts, and close those money-making sales. Using Odo's Kanban view organizes opportunities by stage. You can drag these opportunities onto the pipeline to move them from one stage to another. Each opportunity is presented as a card and has all the essential information upfront. Each stage provides an overview of expected revenue as well. You can easily drag these cards from one stage to another like a board of sticky notes. When you're talking to your client and pitching your business, you can send emails, you can schedule calls and meetings, you can have internal external exchanges, and all of this is from within the app. It ensures very easy access to this discussion history. The best part is that you can use the CRM app for free. Odoo's first app is free for life. It comes with unlimited hosting and support. So click on my link in the description and get started with your CRM app on Odoo for free now. So this is the transactions where you have your trade date. When did you trade? You just enter it here in the form of say 2025. Today is 0630, say 30th June. Make sure you follow the date template. So this is year, month and day, and you can just use the paint format. So this becomes June 30th. Say you are buying a stock today, or you're just buying liquid bees, right? I'm just going to make it up. Liquid bees, you enter the ticker symbol of that stock. The way to find the ticker symbol is you go to Google and you search for whatever, say you want to find the ticker symbol of ICICI Bank. You go and search ICICI Bank share. This is the ticker symbol, right? ICICI Bank. You can also use NSE ICICI Bank, but ICICI Bank. So you come here and you put whatever stock you're buying, you put the ticker symbol there. You put a trade quantity of buy. You say bought 100 units and you bought it today at 1436. So you added the price here. The total, you copy this and you paste it, right? Now this is automatically updated as value equity here because we need this classification to come in so that it updates the overall tab. All of these classifications will auto-generate. If they don't auto-generate for you, and if you have something, then you just manually override it, write that classification, but just make sure that the classification you're writing here is the same language is being used here, because otherwise this will not update. So coming back, this is the transactions, ICICI Bank, 1,43,600. Now, where does this go? This goes into the positions tab. Positions is all the positions that you have right now. This is how it looks. Notice how ICICI Bank is auto-updated here. 100 shares are here. This is the name of the bank. I did not do anything. I just inputted the entry there and it came here. Purchase 1436, price current. This is the current price, which is auto-updated using Google Finance. As you can see, the Google Finance function is applied here. Change is -1%, cost is 1,43,000, blah, blah, blah. Classification again, value equity, which it has pulled up directly from your transactions tab. I will also at the end of this video show you some app scripts that have been applied at the end of it. So if you really want to go deeper into how this is being built, then you can wait till the end of the video. But the first half of the video, I'm going to make sure that it's easy enough for most people to follow along and just make their changes and use this. But if you want to further customize it for your own needs, which I would highly encourage you to do, see the second half of the video as well, where I'll go deeper into the app scripts and all of the macros that are working in the backend to enable this portfolio tracker. Cool. Now let's go back. Say for example, you want to buy a mutual fund. How do you input a mutual fund? So let's see. Parag Parekh Flexi Cap Fund. Right, we go there. How do we find the ticker symbol for this? Search Google Finance against it. When you reach this, you can go to here. This is your Google Finance page for Parag Parekh Flexi Cap regular growth. I want direct growth. Parag Parekh. Hope you know the difference between regular and direct. If you do, please mention in the comments and let me know. So this is the direct growth fund, and this here is the, if you can see my screen, this here is the copy paste this, Command C, go here, put that here, and now you will see how this will going to turn up. Let's keep the same date. You're buying a lot of stuff today. Okay, you bought 400 units of this. At what price? You bought it at 92.67. So you put that here, and then see MF is auto updated here. The cost is auto updated here, the total value. Magic, go to positions, you will see Parag Parekh has already updated here. Why is it showing 410 units and an average purchase price is different? Because we had a previous entry in April 25, 2019 of Parag Parekh where it had 10 units which I had bought at 91. Again, made up stuff, but you see how 400 plus 10 has been auto added here to make it 410. Now I will show you another thing. Say for example, I was to sell this. I bought it and I also sold it. So I do this sell and I do minus, I only sold 150 units, minus 150, right? And I sold it at a price of making it up 95 rupees, right? Now this is what I've sold. How does my positions reflect? It should update, right? 210 minus 150, it should become 260. There you go, it has become 260. The purchase price also auto adjusts basis your average price. So that's how this works. Parag Parekh Flexi Cap, you have this shares. You don't need to change this sheet, but the positions sheet is not to be changed. The only place where you make changes is in this transactions sheet. So what I've done here is you can see there's gold case here, there is equity arbitrage fund here, there is SBI Magnum Gilt Fund, which is a debt fund here. I've just taken these as examples to give you a sense of what's possible with this transactions sheet. There's the Yes Bank here and so on. What is missing from here are the US stocks, which is in a separate sheet, which is here. The same formulas apply, but I've just called it US transactions and US positions. So we'll come to that next. Hopefully this is clear by now.
So while I was actually editing this video, I noticed that we can use this transactions part and find out one more thing. So I'm going to add this later. But what I've done now is, let me quickly present my screen. Yeah. So while I was editing this video, I noticed that there was one more thing that we can add to this, which is that using these transactions that you're inputting here, right, you can also see at an every monthly level that what is your monthly input like. This will help you with two things. This will help you track your investments month on month, and therefore at the end of the year you can see how much are you actually investing, and as a percentage of your overall salary, overall take home, what percentage are you investing, and this should also auto update. Second thing is we can also break it down by all of these different classifications, so you know how much you're investing every month in these classifications. So I've just added that as another tab, which is called monthly inputs. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to pick up all of these different classifications that we have added here. I'll show you how to do this. So you just pick this up, you delete the current ones that are here, and you I'm just going to do this right away. So there you go. Right now this is how, so I've inputted the month here, value, equity, mutual fund, liquid fund, all of them remain the same. What I've done here is I've put a formula here for you. So this pulls up, it's a sum if function which has two things. One, that if your classification matches this particular classification here, that's the first thing to add, and the second thing is that you should only add transactions of this particular month. So that's why the July, and that's why you see this A2 here, which is this July month, right? And all you need to do is that you just drag it here. We don't have any transactions, but I'll show you how this works, right? So say for example I add a new transaction of 4th July, which is 2025-07-04, and we add value equity transaction. Say we buy Ultra Semco, which is Ultratech Cement. We buy 100 shares at 12,000 rupees, and we copy paste this. So that's whatever, 12 lakh rupees worth of shares. Now you go to monthly input. See, your value equity is already updated, that in this month in July you added total of 11,99,700, because there's also negative transaction in July here, this Yes Bank sale that you had done was 300, right? So use this monthly inputs, and then you can sum it up here at the end of the month, where you do a sum function of this entire thing to know how much have you invested in the entire month. This number should ideally be going up as you do this, but this came to me as an afterthought, so I'm adding this. Now let's go back to the original video.
The best way to find any mutual fund is just going to this Google Finance sheet and searching for your specific mutual fund. So say SBI Contra Fund Direct Growth, right? You can go here, pick up this as your ticker symbol, and you add it here, and you add your buy and sell transactions, and it will get updated here in the positions tab. It will also get updated here in the overall tab. So that's how this works. All you need to do is just keep updating your transactions. As your SIPs take place every month, you just come here and update them, and then everything else is magic. Cool. One thing I want to call out is sometimes Google Finance changes these ticker symbols in the backend. So if sometimes you see an NA error here or an error here in positions, just go check if the ticker symbol for that mutual fund has changed. There's a high chance that it has changed. So you just have to go back and update all of the entries of that with that particular one. Just do a command F and replace all with the new ticker symbol, and it'll be done. Before we proceed further, I also want to share that there is a how to make a copy. I will get a lot of requests to edit the sheet. I cannot give you that access because it will screw up for everybody. But this is how you make a copy. You click on make a copy, copy of portfolio tracker, Pranay Kapoor's YouTube. Click on make a copy. This is how it looks, and then after this you can just change the name of this portfolio tracker to your whatever name you want to call it. Say you are Gaurav's portfolio tracker. That's it. Now this is your tracker. There are a lot of NAs and As here because the entries are still loading, but don't worry about that. It has all the macros and all built in. It's still loading here in the positions as well, but this should work. Right now going back here, I'm going to close this for now. Cool. So we've understood transactions and positions. Now let's jump into the US transactions and US positions, because this is also extremely important. So the way this works is I have two entries here. Date, same, stock, put any stock you want. So I put Meta here, buy, this is the number of units, average cost. This is computed, basically what the current cost is. Cost in INR. What I've done here is I've just multiplied it by the ongoing rate of USD INR. The value of those shares right now basis current market prices. This is the gain. This is the gain percentage. This is the broker. Again, mention which broker are you putting in here so that it helps you with tracking it later. Because sometimes people have vested, sometimes people have IBKR, sometimes say people have whatever, ICICI securities. So whatever, right? Just mention your broker here as well so that you know exactly which broker is your stocks lying in. And then the classification here is always going to be US stocks, because this is something that you have mentioned. These are all US stocks. Again, wanted to add here that in addition to your bank accounts, you can also leave the usernames, password of your brokerages, of any other platforms, any other portals that you are registered in, so that it makes it easy for people to track these after you're not there. Just wanted to add that as I'm looking at this video again and as we're editing it further. So as you do this here, same logic applies here. This positions tab gets updated. The only change here is that instead of just having cost and value in terms of USD, there's also an INR here. I've done the whole sheet in INR so that you have it in one place. One caveat here which I want to call out is that the time you buy this, the USD INR fluctuation from the time of when you bought this share to what the current is not incorporated, because we know INR also depreciates over a period of time against the USD. That depreciation has not been accounted for here. That just makes it really complex. So this portfolio is just going to give you your US stocks at that particular point in time. The value and the cost are going to be basis the USD rate going on that day, and not the USD rate that you had purchased it at, right? So that's the one caveat I want to call out. Doesn't make so much of a difference, but just wanted to make sure that you're aware that that's one shortcoming of this model. So yeah, you can again do the same thing here. You can just keep adding. Let's make an entry together. Say 0, we bought it last year, right? 31st May, we bought Nvidia, we bought say 40 units at an average cost of 90, 100, and after that you just drag this whole thing, command V. So your cost is $4,000. In rupees, it's 3,42,000. The value today is 6,319. The gain is this much. This is in ICICI Securities, assuming you bought it there. And see, Nvidia has appeared here with hefty gains of 58% and so on, right? Now, this is also something that you will notice in our overall portfolio. Our US stocks, our value is 17,09,161. And if you come here and you add all of this, it's 17,09,161, right? Sorry, 1,70,000. No, 17 lakhs only. Yeah. So you see how, and you just saw how this got auto updated because it's real time. So that's how this works. Very simple, very straightforward. How do you find the ticker symbol here? Again, same. Just go to Google Finance and search for Nvidia, for example, and then there you go. NVDA is the symbol. You can also do this for, say, if you were buying the S&P 500 WOO. Which is a ETF, Vanguard S&P 500. You can just put WOO here as well, and it will work for ETFs as well. So anything which has a ticker symbol on Google Finance, you can just put that here, and then it should reflect in your US positions here. Cool. Amazing. I'm glad you're with me so far. We're getting to the end of this video now, hopefully. Now let's get into RSUs. A lot of you have stock units. The way I've done this is, the only thing you need to change here is, so these are the things that you need to change, these three. What company do you work for? So what RSUs do you have? How many units do you have? And what was the issued price that you got it at, right? Current price and all will auto pull from Google Finance. So say, for example, you are at Amazon, you put the ticker symbol AMZN here, which is Amazon. How many units did you purchase from Amazon? How many units you've been issued over the last few years? 100 units. Issued price is 150. All of this should reflect, like issued price you can find from your brokerage that your Amazon has given you. So you can find this, and then current price is auto pulled, currency conversion is auto pulled, issued value is computed by multiplying these three, and then this is the current value. So right now your current value is 18,78,000, and if you go to your overall tab, your current value is reflecting here 18,78,000. It's all auto pulling from there. I can change this to, say, if I were to change Amazon to Google, right? Google is the ticker symbol. Your current value changes to 15,19,000, and similarly the current value here also changes to 15,90,000, and therefore your overall portfolio also changes accordingly. So that's how this works, the RSUs section. If you have RSUs, great. If you don't have RSUs, this is not needed for you. You can just leave this blank. And okay, the other one is SGBs. SGBs is gold bonds. I don't know about you all, but I had bought a lot of gold bonds back in the day. This unfortunately doesn't auto update from Google Finance, but I still wanted to make sure that I have it all in one place. So what I have done is I put together this tracker. I'm going to give you a heads up. This does not auto update daily. You have to go check the price if you want to auto update it daily. But the way I do this is I maybe auto update it once a year, depending on what that price is, and let it be. But what I do is I record the other things. So like date of purchase, when did I purchase it? This is the symbol. I pulled these symbols out from the NSE India website. You can go on this website and you can actually type what the exact SGB SEP 286 GB if you type. You'll get the face value. You enter this, the purchase price, price, what price did you buy it at, how many units did you buy. After that, it all computes this. So cost amount is this, annual interest is this much, which is at 2.5% annually. Maturity date is this, broker is wherever you brought this broker. For me, it's Zerodha. Current price is 9770. Again, you have to input this. If you want this to auto update, like if you want this to show up in your portfolio, you have to input what the current price is. Current value will be computed from current price, and what is the half yearly interest of 320. Why do I have this half yearly interest? Because when I'm doing tax calculations, I have to pay tax on this half yearly interest, and so I look in my statements on where this interest is. So I just want a quick overview of where this, how much that interest amount is and what should I look for. So yeah, that's SGBs, and this value here 48850 is going to be reflecting here in gold bonds. 48850, this is the gain that I have, this is the gain percentage I have, and so on. So that's on gold bonds. Where is this gold coming from, by the way? This gold, if you remember in the transaction, this gold case that I had inputted earlier, this 100 rupees of gold case, that's what's coming here in the gold transactions, right? So that's the gold part here. Okay, I think we are pretty much done. We've covered everything. Oh, the last bit with the most, actually two things. First, let's cover cash. This is another important aspect to maintain. How much cash do you have right now? The way I do this is I put all my bank accounts here, I put the balance against that. Again, you have to update this as and when you want to take stock of how much cash do you have. What I also do is I put the account number, username, password, if there is a two-factor authentication, what is the mechanism for that, so that in case if I'm not around and somebody needs to access this, at least they have all of these passwords and stuff here. You can also add your brokerage account balances here. So say if in Zerodha you have 5 lakh rupees lying here, what is your username, password, and so on, you can add that stuff here as well. So anyway, that's how this works. The sum of all of this is going to reflect here in cash here. So you have this handy and you know how much of your overall percentage is in cash. Currently you are at about 5.3% of your portfolio is in cash, right? So this is a good way to just keep adding your things, and as you add, just make sure you're updating the formula here. It's a pretty straightforward sum function from that sheet, so it just auto updates it. So make sure you update this as you edit that. Okay, last but the most important is XIRR/performance. XIRR is a little bit of a misnomer, but what I've done here is, this is a very colorful sheet, but it's a very important sheet. What this does is, this saves your values against the different asset classes on a daily level. So every day, this will auto trigger a function at 5 o'clock in the morning to make sure that your values are stored. So the way this, so for example, these are your current values that we have. This is the current portfolio. This is the current value that you have from your overall tab here. Now overall, 22nd June, again, these are numbers are bogus because they've been changing. I've been playing around with this in front of you, so the numbers change a lot. But 22nd June, this auto updated and auto added here 5798690 at 5 a.m. Now every day this has been happening, and so now 29th June, tomorrow morning when you will come and see this, there will be a number here which is going to be your portfolio value. So tomorrow this number will be 84,40,000. And why is that 84 lakh? Because we just made all those changes. So this will be 84 lakhs. Then the next day, again, whatever that number is based on the market movement, this will be updated here. So what this gives you is, it gives you a day by day track. So imagine I have a daily portfolio value of my portfolio over the last 5 years. This is at an overall level. This is also at a value equity level, a mutual fund level, a liquid fund level, a gold level, US stocks level, debt funds, arbitrage, and so on. How this helps you is two ways. One, you can actually see your performance. So actually that's the only way, that's the only benefit, that you can track your XIRRs or your performances over any period of time. So if you want to find an XIRR, the formula is very simple. You go here and you put XIRR. So firstly, in XIRR, you just need to multiply. Actually, this is a good way to see CAGR, but for an XIRR, I would say refer to this transactions sheet. So for example, if you want to see the XIRR of your, let's compute it here. I'll teach you how to do it. You will have to do it on your own. But say you put a filter here, classification. Let's say you want to see the XIRR of your value equity. Okay. These are the three different dates that you have: 2019, 25, 25. And here the last one is going to be today's date. So you put today is say 20250701. That's the date. And your value is, today your value is, let's pull up the value from here. So your value equity, your value is 143623, right? So you put here 143623. Now the way to follow XIRR, like compute XIRR, and it might not work here because the entries are too little, but you multiply this by -1, because the logic of XIRR is that outflows are considered to be negatives and inflows are considered to be positive. So when you're selling something, it's positive because money is coming in, and when you're buying something, it's negative because money is going out. In this case, when you're buying something, it's positive, so we need to make this positive into negative, right? So you just put these dates here, Command C, Command Shift V. Let's just do this on the side, and then you put this here, Command C, Command Shift V. For XIRR, we multiply all of these by -1. So this is how it looks, right? Now to find the XIRR, all you need to do is equal to put the XIRR function. Cash flow amounts are these, and your cash flow dates are these. Make sure you do that in that order. It's not working right now because it's just like the dates are really haphazard, and yeah, it's not working right now. But if you had more entries, and if you had like even this, right, this is just one day. June 30th is such a big entry, and so say for example I was to change this around to slightly more spaced out dates, then this number will work. But I have found XIRR using this in the past, and I would encourage you to just make it work for you. So you can just change these to whatever else you want. If you wanted to do for mutual funds, you can remove your value equity and see mutual funds here, and then again pull out what I just did here, put all the dates in one side, put this total in the other side, and do that. So that's how XIRR can be computed. I'm going to delete all this. I am going to clean this up. Yeah, sheet is all good. We are still seeing the number. So that's how XIRR is. But yeah, this is very important to make sure that you're able to track it on a daily basis on how your different asset classes are doing. Say at the end of the year, when you want to see, you started with 202 and today say you have 1000 rupees. What was the XIRR like? You can actually go to your transactions tab, filter by value equity, and measure it. You can also use this to measure CAGR over a long period of time. So yeah, I think that sort of brings us to the end of how this works. That's the first part. Okay, so now that you have understood how this sheet works, what is the structure of this sheet, let me show you how to get started. So assume you made your copy. You're going to ask me, Pranay, how do I get started? What is my step one? Step one is go to transactions, select all of this till price. Okay, don't select till price, select till quantity and delete. Now the minute you delete this, your positions tab has become empty, which is as expected. It's fine. Then go to your US transactions. If you have US transactions, great. If you don't, you can just empty this whole thing and it doesn't matter. But say for example you go till average cost, delete all this. Okay, you deleted all this, and then you see everything, all of the other places where the formulas are applied, those become empty. So your US positions has also become empty, which is fine. Cash, you delete all this and you input your own bank account details and you input your own different details. SGB, again, delete all of this, delete face value, delete your symbol, delete your date, delete purchase price, delete how many units you bought, delete maturity date, delete current price, delete broker, and then after that just input all of these details for your own SGBs, and that should get updated. XIRR is another important one. So XIRR will only, this will only happen when your portfolio is ready, because unless your portfolio is ready, there will be no value to pull these numbers from, right? So here what you need to do is you need to just go here when your portfolio is ready. Say you start this exercise on 1st July, and say you start this exercise on 20th July, and on 20th June, and on 1st July you are ready with your portfolio, everything has been done. So you go here, you put the date, first date of 2025-0701, which is 1st July. Notice how everything here has gone away. There's a formula here. Do not change this formula. I put this all the way till the end. Like you're covered for the next 3-4 years. But yeah, you go there and you put this formula, you delete all of this. I will tell you how to populate this in a minute. But once you're done with everything, you go to macros. So again, delete this, do the same thing everywhere. Select this date, paste it everywhere for whatever asset classes you want to be tracking. Paste it in the first row here everywhere. This is the day your portfolio starts to update on this sheet, right? This is the first day, and for you to have a number here, you need to have, so basically how this works is, let's go to extensions, you go to app scripts, and now what I'm trying to do is I'm going to put a corresponding number here, that what is the value of the portfolio on 1st July. Right now the value is nil, so this is going to be, so I'm just going to brute force a value here, say the value is 10 lakh rupees. You go to your app scripts, these are the different scripts, we will jump into this in a minute, but you go into this overall script, this is the script which is mentioned here, you click on run. Okay, the minute you click on run, execution started, execution completed, and now notice what happens. This against your 1st July, your number which I had inputted here has auto populated. This is what's happening here, and to make sure that you don't have to do this, you only need to do this the first time. After this, every morning, see I've put triggers here. If you go to the trigger tab, every morning your overall this is the trigger that I put, time-based trigger. Every morning between 5 to 6 a.m. this is going to trigger, and so when you open your sheet at say 7 a.m. you will have a date here for that particular day, and you will have a value here which is going to be auto updating from all of this stuff. So that's how this works. Similarly for value equity, again you delete all of this. Say your value equity, because you updated everything, is 450 here. I will clean this up after this, so you have all the formulas here. But now for example, you go here, you go on triggers again, value equity, this is the one, you click on on run and you will notice how there is a number there now which has come. Execution started, execution completed. See, now you have 450 here and the same trigger has been applied everywhere. So that's how this works. The mutual fund, no surprises, is mutual fund.gs. You have to trigger this. For liquid fund, you trigger this. For gold, you trigger this. Similarly, US stocks, debt funds, arbitrage, just keep running. Click on run here and then all of these will update on the day one, and after that you don't need to put run again because the trigger has been set for every morning between 5 to 6 a.m. It's going to trigger on your behalf, so you don't need to do this. So the sheet auto updates while you're sleeping, right? That's the beauty of it. So that's how you get started. I think that pretty much brings us to the end of the video. While I have you here, I also want to walk you through what are these different functions. So there are two functions here. The first one is this my portfolio function. I think this is the important one. I also want to give a big shout out to this channel on YouTube. It's called Think Stocks. It's a dead channel now. I don't think the guy uploads anymore, but he had uploaded this function about 4-5 years ago. I used this as the base function and then I just built everything around it inspired by him. But what this function does is it updates your average buy price, average number of units sold, and this is the function which has been updated here. So if you go here and you look at this, it's equal to my portfolio and then it pulls from the transactions which are in this tab. So this is the function. The base script of that function is here. Do not play around with this too much unless you understand it very well, because if you mess this up then everything else gets messed up. So the one place that it's used is here and the other place that it's used is here. The same function, the minute you put this, it pulls from the script and does that. So this is the first function on my portfolio, and then after that these are the different functions of having the value, the daily value update in the XIRR tab, which we already saw. So that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you found this useful. I know it's a little complex, but I had promised that I will share this, so here I am. I will clean this up again. I've dirtied it a lot, but I will do some Control Z and like put this in a place where you can use it again. I'm going to be transparent. I will not be able to do this for your individual cases. I've given you the framework and the setup. Make it your own. Use it. Use Gemini, ChatGPT to further evolve it if you need. If I don't have the, unfortunately, I don't have the bandwidth to be able to help with individual queries on a lot of this, which I know will come. Before I let you go, there's another thing I was thinking, that you can also make the same tabs, say all of these different tabs, right? Overall, positions, transactions. You can also make this for your spouse. So say for example, your spouse is working. You can have two different trackers as a part of the same Google Sheet. So you have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tabs here. You make the same 8 tabs and call it overall. So say if your name is Gaurav, you put overall bracket G, positions G, transactions G, that's Gaurav's transactions, and you can make another 8 tabs in the same sheet where say your spouse's name is whatever, Anita. You can put A there, right? So overall A, positions A, transactions A, and so on. And then you can make a combined one if you want, where at an overall level you want to add them and see how the portfolio is, where you just add the overall G's and the overall A's to see what the combined portfolio is looking. You understood the macros now, and so therefore you can just copy paste the same macros, the my portfolio link and the triggers and all of that in the Anita sheet also, and so that whole thing also starts to auto generate. Or the other way to do this for your spouse is just make 2 copies of this sheet, make one for Gaurav, make one for Anita, and at least then it's easy for you to just add. You can make one tab where you just add everything and you know the combined portfolio value. So it's not just for you, you can also make this for your spouse and then see it at a combined level. I just want to add that as I'm editing and reviewing this later. I forgot to mention it in the start. That brings us to the end of this video. It's been a rather long and a complex video and I'm actually thirsty. But few things before I let you go. One, I have a life insurance calculator which helps you with 2 things. One, how much coverage do you need, and 2, how long do you need it for, and it takes into account a whole lot of variables like your spouse's income, how many years are they going to work for, what is your financial corpus right now, what financial goals are you working towards, how far ahead is that goal. So keeping all of those variables in mind, it spits out your coverage amount and how long do you need it for. If I reach 200 comments in this video asking for that calculator, I'm going to make a video on that calculator and release it for you. Finally, thank you Odo for sponsoring today's video. It wouldn't have been possible without your support. It's free for everybody thanks to Odo. Check out the link in the description. It is great time to try Odo. Lifetime hosting free for any of the apps of your choice. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click the bell icon. I don't say this usually, but in case you find this useful, share it with your friends and family. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.